that the goals need to support your values. That is a huge thing in goal setting. Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Ryan Ledford, and the goal of this channel is to share practical leadership advice that you can start using today. Now let's get to the video. Today's topic is setting meaningful and sustainable goals. As you know, and so do I, not all goals are worth chasing. I've set many goals in my life that I ended up not chasing because they weren't valuable. Some of these goals look productive, but really they drain you, and they drain you very quickly. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can set goals that support you instead of actually consuming you. If you find that these videos add value to your life, consider liking and subscribing. Thanks. All right, the problem. Many goals are driven by the wrong thing. You've seen that in your own life. I know that I have. Many goals are driven by the wrong thing. A lot of those wrong things are comparison. Other non-sustainable goals are the fact that it adds an unnecessary pressure to your life because, and we'll talk to it about in a minute, the pressure is unsustainable. The pressure is the fact that it's not realistic. This goal isn't relevant to your life either. So there's a pressure to this goal that's unnecessary. Also, there's an image related to this goal that maybe isn't sustainable or isn't realistic. You can't actually achieve that goal. So a lot of times goals look impressive, but really they end up just being heavy and unreachable. So alignment over achievement. A meaningful goal needs to do a few things. And first, it needs to fit your season of life. This goal needs to fit where you are and where you want to go. It needs to fit the season of life that you're in. Another idea is that the goals need to support your values. That is a huge thing in goal setting, is if this goal even supports the values that you hold dear to yourself. There's another saying that I like quite a bit is, if you're not going to stand for something, then you're going to fall for anything. So what are your values? What do you hold close to your life? What do you hold dear in your life? And the things that you want to do, the goals you want to set, do they align with those values, the things you believe? Also, meaningful goals respect your limits. And what I mean by respecting your limits is this goal doesn't take up your entire life. So think about that. Does the goal that you're trying to achieve respect your limits, respect your time? Can you even do that? Do you have enough time to devote to that thing? So I talked about meaningful goals and the fact that they need to do a few things. They need to fit with your season of life. They need to support the values that you have and the values that you hold. But they also need to respect your limits. Next, let's talk about shifting your perspective. So ask yourself this question. Instead of saying to yourself, what can I accomplish? Rather ask, what kind of person am I becoming? What kind of person do I want to be? That shift in perspective from what can I accomplish to who do I want to be? What am I becoming? That's going to take the focus off of the betrayal of maybe failing at one aspect of this goal and shifts the focus of who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Who am I becoming in this process, rather than just an arbitrary goal or an arbitrary thing to accomplish? You add value and you add meaning to this goal when you tie it to yourself and how you're growing. That change of perspective, that question, that changes everything. So I've talked about the alignment so far. I've talked about the problem, and I've talked through the perspective, changing that perspective of asking a question of looking at what you're becoming rather than just attaining a thing. So to get you to that point, I want to talk now on the SMART goal framework. Many of you have probably heard of the SMART acronym, SMART, and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, relevant, and time-bound. If you use this SMART framework to build a goal, to set a goal, then you have a higher likelihood of achieving that goal. So I'll walk through it with you here very quickly. S, specific. Name the goal specifically. And the first part is specific because if you don't have a clear goal in mind, if you don't have a clear idea in mind, then you can't achieve it. You're not gonna meet that goal. Next is measurable. Typically measurable in the fact of if it's monetary, you can see the increase of money. Like if you're trying to increase your revenue by $10,000 a month, well, you can measure that. That's very, very easy to measure. Or you can measure weight loss. If you want to lose 10 pounds in 3 weeks, okay, well, you can measure that 10 pounds. It's pretty easy. Next is achievable. I also use the word attainable or realistic because if it is unrealistic, if it's unachievable or unattainable, then it's gonna burn you out. It's going to lead to failure, and that's going to lead to you quitting. The next aspect of the SMART goal framework is it relevant? And that goes back to your season of life and where you are and the things that you want to do for your life. Is it relevant? And so if I'm setting a goal that is misaligned with my values, then it's not relevant. If it's misaligned with the things that I need to do as a daily basis for my job, and it doesn't support those that lifestyle, then I'm not going to achieve this thing because it's not relevant, and it's probably not something that I actually want to do. The next aspect is T at the very end there, time bound. Time bound can be many different things. I like to think of it as looking at a more near-term time bound aspect. So I like to think of it as maybe if you're running a marathon, work on maybe 10 weeks instead of a year out. Look at a smaller, shorter time-bound goal instead of something that is a year out, because that's a more difficult thing to achieve. But use this framework to help guide you in the goal setting, and this will give you a leg up on the next time you want to actually achieve a goal and set those goals. So we've worked through a few things already, and the last aspect of today's discussion, I'd like to talk to you about sustainable progress. So goals need to do more than just be an idea. Sustainable goals have a few things in common. And first off, they require something of you. And I've mentioned this already in other videos, but usually a goal or achieving something requires time. Everything requires time. And if you want to complete a task or set a goal, it's going to require time of you. Also requires focus. You have to be laser focused on achieving goals, especially if they are big goals, if they are going to be life-changing goals. It's going to take a lot of focus, and you can do it. You just need to know that it's going to require these things of you. Lastly, a lot of times this goal is going to require sacrifice, whether it's sacrificing other things that you do or sacrificing your time, but it's going to require you to sacrifice something. We need to understand that we don't have to have it all together, and our goals need to have time built in it for rest. The next one is goals need to emphasize consistency. I've talked in a previous video of my 5 B's, of my framework that I use every day. The be faithful, be trustworthy, be courageous, be disciplined, and be a great husband. Those build consistency in my life. And so your goals need to also emphasize consistency, because that's where you really find growth. That's where you find the benefits of a SMART goal is in that consistency. Think about this. Burnout isn't proof of commitment. I'll say it again. Burnout isn't proof of commitment. It's signaling something is misaligned, that something isn't aligned with your values, which I mentioned earlier. All right. I talked about a lot. I talked about goals. I talked about how to set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. I talked to you about being consistent. I talked to you about also thinking through the question you should ask is, what kind of person am I becoming? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? And that question changes your perspective instead of just accomplishing a task or a goal, but who am I becoming? And I also talk to you about the focus of alignment, of aligning the value, aligning the goal rather to your values instead of just being a arbitrary goal that's pegged out in front of you that's not connected to anything. Because goals a lot of times can be comparative or pressuring. So let's align them properly. Let's think about what we're becoming and who we're becoming so that this goal is specific, measurable, achievable, real, relevant, and time-bound. And think about sustainable goals. Think about the fact that they are going to ask something of you, and we need to look at the alignment of these goals. All right, I went through a lot on this video, but I appreciate you sticking around. I've written down the framework that I use, my personal framework, my 5 Bs, in the video description. I also laid out the SMART goal framework for you to use. Thanks again for watching the video. If you have questions or you'd like to share your story, please do so in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find value in this video. And I'll see you next time where I talk about the meaning of having character. As always, be faithful, be trustworthy, keep going.